Hello everybody, welcome back to Dude Ranch DIY. My name is Jake. Today we are going to be making some firewood bundles, but not just any firewood bundles. We are going to be making some barbecue smoking bundles. To be specific, we're going to be making 3 hickory, potentially 3 oak, and 2 cherry smoking bundles. Now, if you were watching a couple videos back, I did a delivery to a brewery and of just regular firewood and said that there might be the opportunity for me to start supplying them with barbecue smoking wood. Well, that opportunity has arisen. I have seized said opportunity. We have made an agreement on how many bundles and the cost of each bundle. And in a couple days here, I need to deliver them because the smoking event is this upcoming Saturday. It is currently Monday. So I am just heading outside. We are at the Shelter Logic where the tractor is. We're going to pull out the tractor, go take a look at my wood inventory, make sure that everything is nice, seasoned, moisture test it, and then we're going to start the process of making these bundles. They're going to be a little bit different than the bundles that I normally make, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, guys, so we are down here in the wood yard, obviously, and this is where I have my smoking species of wood. They're all off in this corner, and these totes are pretty old, almost going probably on a year. Some of them might be a little over a year. Some of them might be a little under a year. You can probably tell this is cherry. The tote that I'm going to pull from is actually back there, and it's partially been pulled from already. That's all cherry as well. So I'm going to continue to pull from that. So I'll probably pop this tote out and just kind of swap the two. And then over here, I have a tote of hickory, and as you can see, it's a little faded, but it says that it was hickory that was split in October of 2022. So that should be, plenty dry. You can see it's all checked and cracked on the ends, a lot of them at least. So I'm hoping that when we split this open with the maul and then take the moisture meter to it, that it should, all of this, both the cherry and the hickory, should be under 20% moisture content. Now, as far as the oak goes, I have a tote back there of oak, but what the barbecue, the guy doing the barbecue had requested was white oak. A lot of the oak that I have is not white oak, at least the stuff that's seasoned. It's mostly red oak and black oak. A lot of the, oh wow, that is a big spider. Guys, look at the size of this spider. You see that thing? That is a big spider. Well, I know we're not going to be messing with that tote. I'm also not going to disturb him because he's probably eating up all the bad insects. Wow, yeah, I'm going to stay away from that one. But I lost my train of thought. Oh, so white oak. Yeah, the barbecue guy wanted white oak. I have basically all of these totes here. The majority of these totes are white oak, but it was all recently split. So there's no way that this stuff is going to be under 20% moisture content. These were all the trees that we cut down here in the wood yard. Oh, wow. And there's a deer. The wood yard is just full of life this afternoon. I rarely see deer back here, at least when I'm here. On the trail camera, we see them all the time, but look at that, just one by itself. Anyway, yeah, the white oak that I have probably isn't going to be ready. All right, guys. So, got this tote of cherry here. Go ahead and pop this top. Make sure there's no big, terrifying spiders. Sure there are. They're just hiding. Yeah, so as you can see, this stuff is split to pretty reasonable size. No like really giant pieces. It's pretty, sounds pretty dry when you clank it together, but let's just make sure. So this is a pretty big piece, but we'll put it down, split it, got our inside here, and let's see what we get. So, I don't know if you can see, we are 16.7.5, right around that 16.5 mark, which is good. And that was on the inside of the split. Again, 16.0, 15.8. It's on the inside. Let's see what the outside is. The outside is 11, 12, 12%. So that piece in specific was good. Let's try another. Here's a slightly larger piece compared to the rest. We'll put this down. There we go. All right. So, inside. Ooh. This piece is saying 24 on the inside there. Outside is at 13, 14%. Yeah, so we're going to have to choose, I think, just some smaller pieces out of this. Like, here's a pretty small piece. Let's see if I can get this to stand up. Okay. Yeah, 14%. So, yeah, I think basically I'm gonna go through. I'm just gonna pick out enough bundles. Again, we're only making 2 cherry bundles, so I'll give them a little bit of variety. I'm sure that for the most part, these bigger pieces are pretty dry, and you know, once he had a fire going, I'm sure it wouldn't be too big of a deal. I think he's primarily trying to just supplement in some cherry for a little bit of flavor, but mostly make the fires out of hickory. So this tote's good. I'm gonna pull out the hickory tote and we'll do the same test. Let's rinse and repeat with this here hickory. Let's see what we got. Now this is a smaller piece of hickory. We're at 15% on the fresh side. 12.7 on the outside. Again, fresh split side. We're at 22% there. And 22% there. So yeah, these bigger pieces, 16 on the outside and 14 on the outside of that one. So yeah, these bigger pieces definitely take longer to dry. So I will be cognizant of that when I'm choosing the pieces. I'm gonna call that good enough. We don't need to go crazy here. We're just gonna be picking smaller pieces. Like I said, it is now Monday. These bundles need to be delivered on Thursday. So my plan is to bundle them, keep them inside, out of the humidity, in a room with a dehumidifier running. It basically runs 24/7 in our basement. That should help suck out any last remaining moisture in these pieces. But I have absolutely no concern bundling up especially the smaller pieces in specific, to, you know, sell to this brewery, but ultimately the barbecue company that's doing the event. All right, so here is all the wood that I'm gonna bring in for the hickory bundles. I re-split a couple of the pieces that were a little bit larger with the maul, just to make sure that they're adequate size for this guy. I don't wanna give him huge chunks. So yeah, I probably have around 80 pieces in there. I'm hoping we should only need about 65, 70 to make up the 6 bundles, and we should be in good shape. All right, guys, so I just printed out some of my labels, changed them up a little bit just to say barbecue, smoking bundle, hickory, and then I have one that you know, says cherry here as well. So I'm going to cut these out. This is how I do all my labels. I found, I don't know that it's necessarily more cost effective, but it doesn't really cost much more for me to just cut and do them myself, as opposed to paying like 10 cents a sheet at like a Staples or something and printing up a whole bunch of them. So there we go. Got my cherry labels, got my hickory labels, and we're all set to go. They want 12-inch pieces of wood, but I cut all of my wood to 16 inches. My roll of stretch wrap is 12 inches. So my plan is to essentially just kind of push all the pieces all the way up against the front of the you know, the bundler here, so they're all uniform, and then I'm going to wrap it, and then I'll take the chainsaw once it's all wrapped into one solid, you know, bundle. I'll take the chainsaw and cut off these you know, last 4 or so inches. I don't think it should have any problems going through the saran wrap, and hopefully it cutting through the saran wrap doesn't, you know, ruin the whole rest of the bundle. I don't think it should. I'm hoping it doesn't, so we'll have to do one as a test here. Now, I definitely want to make sure that these are nice and full. So there is a nice full bundle. I normally go up to this mark right here, all the way across. So let's take the wrap and we'll try this out. Okay. I'll take my label and put it up here. One final wrap. And there we go. One barbecue smoking bundle of all hickory. So I'm gonna put this back in here. Just want to make sure. So yeah, 12 inches is gonna be to right about here. So I guess it would be ideal if I had a shorter roll of stretch wrap that was maybe like, you know, let's say 9 inches wide or something. But at the moment, I don't. All right, so now I got my bundle sitting up on this block, and my plan is to mark out 12 inches, which is right here. And now I'm not doing this on the wood itself, I'm doing this on the plastic. So we are right at 12 inches right there. And 12 inches right there. So now in theory, I should be able to cut that off with the chainsaw and be left with a 12-inch smoking bundle. So let's see how this goes. I've never done this before. If you guys do this sort of thing for your own, you know, firewood sales, let me know, because this is the first time that I'm doing it. So I'm sharing it with you guys, and this is just kind of what I came up with. Okay, so there we go. I mean, I guess the downfall to that is that you're getting a lot of sawdust jammed up in there. As you can see, as I go like that, a bunch of sawdust falls out of the bottom, which isn't the cleanest thing in the world. It did cut through the saran wrap just fine. It is still pretty tight. So, I mean, I suppose that'll work, but I'm gonna have to brainstorm on this a little bit. It's definitely a lot of work to go ahead and cut each individual piece with like the chop saw or something. But I don't necessarily want to be delivering bundles of firewood to somebody that does smoking for a business loaded up with sawdust. So we'll figure something out. Okay, so I was thinking about it, and while in theory my idea of cutting it on each side would avoid the plastic wrap, while thinking it through, it would also double the amount of sawdust that I could potentially get back into the bundle. So I think I'm just gonna stick with my method of just cutting the one side and then knocking the sawdust out onto the ground. Again, this is the first time I'm selling these barbecue smoking bundles, so I'll see what the feedback is from the barbecue guy. Hopefully he likes the wood, and we can just go from there, and I'm sure I'll get a bunch of tips and feedback from you guys in the comment section on how I can make this process more efficient, going from 16-inch wood down to 12-inch wood. I'm not quite at the point yet where I want to start cutting wood specifically for barbecue sales to 12-inch, because I don't have a big demand for it. So for the time being, spending some time figuring this out, how to get it down to 12 inches, I think is more time and cost effective than simply cutting a bunch of wood to 12 inches without a predetermined sale, I guess. So here we go, one more time. Okay, I mean, I really don't think that's too bad. As soon as he opens up these bundles, I'm sure he's going to open them all up relatively, around the same time, and all the sawdust is just going to fall out anyway. Nobody has ever won any awards for the cleanest barbecue, so I'm okay with this. Okay, and just like that, we have our smoking bundles of hickory. Now, a lot of you are probably like, oh, well, what are you going to do with all these? Well, these could all be sold as Hickory smoking chunks, because some people use the chunks. Others use with, offset smokers, like the, logs, like short logs like this. So, again, guys, if this is something that you guys do, please let me know in the comments some ways, or even if you don't, but just some ways that I could improve upon this process. If this becomes a regular thing, this brewery is kind of testing out this whole barbecue thing to see if they generate a good crowd. And if they do, it would end up being a more regular thing that they do. So if they like my wood, and if it does become a more regular, like event that they do on the weekends, I could potentially have a really nice client of, small quantity smoking bundles. Okay guys, I got my cherry wood here for the 2 cherry bundles, and I also picked up a bundle's worth of kindling to throw in to help the barbecue guy get the fire going. Figured that's a nice touch. If he does a lot of barbecue in the area, this could be a potential new client for me. So want to put my best foot forward here. All right, there's our 8th and final bundle. 2 cherry, 6 hickory. Just got to cut the cherry. All right, well, there are all 8 of our smoking bundles. Only thing left we got to do is make the kindling bundle. All right, and there we go, just like that. One really nice kindling bundle to go on top, a little extra added service. All right, guys, there we have it. Our 8 smoking bundles and 1 extra kindling bundle on top. For those of you that are wondering if this was worth my time, I think it is, because for these 8 bundles, not including the kindling, that's extra that I'm just adding on top. For these 8 bundles, I am selling them basically for the same amount that I would charge for 2 full totes of just bulk firewood. So if you do the math on that, I am roughly getting about $2.50, maybe even more. That's on the generous side, but $2.50 per stick of firewood here. Now I do have a $25 delivery fee because it's over a 10-mile distance, but that is, I'd say, a pretty darn good return. Like I said, 8 bundles is equal to just about the cost of 2 full totes of just bulk campfire wood. So that being said, I'm trying to put my best foot forward, as I said before, and make a good impression on both the brewery and the barbecue guy, whoever's, whatever company is doing the barbecue. I'd like them to like my wood and, the service that I provide. So that's why I was just going the extra mile to try and get out as much sawdust as I could, make sure that the wood was nice and dry, have appropriate labels, and throw the extra kindling on top. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. I'm going to be delivering this in a couple days. In the meantime, the wood is going to be sitting inside here, and I will be running this dehumidifier down here just to make sure it sucks out any last little bits of moisture that are in there. So as always, guys, if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate it. Any questions, comments, or feedback on what I did here today, or the Brute Force Firewood Bundler, put it down in that comment section. But for now, I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.